Breaking news coming in from India. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced a major free trade agreement between India and the European Union, describing it as a landmark deal with huge potential. The agreement is expected to create significant opportunities for people in both India and Europe, strengthening economic ties between the two regions. Modi has highlighted that the deal represents a quarter of the global GDP and a third of the world trade, showing the scale of this partnership. He has also noted that the agreement complements other trade deals with Britain and the EFTA, reinforcing India's commitment to democracy, rule of law, and strong global economic partnerships. After nearly 2 decades of negotiations, India and the European Union are all set to announce the historic trade deal today at the 16th India-EU Summit. The summit will be co-chaired by the President of the European Council, Antonio Luis Santos da Costa, and the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who are presently on a state visit to India and have attended India's 77th Republic Day ceremony as chief guests. Now for this discussion, we welcome Mr. Sharad Kohli. He is a senior economist, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Mr. Kohli, for joining us. Great to have you. How significant is this? What more can you tell us about this exciting news?
Greetings, Asuma, to you and NewsX World viewers. A landmark deal indeed, as the Prime Minister Modi of India rightly said, it's quarter of world GDP, one-third of the global trade. And, the deal comes in the backdrop of the American onslaught of tariffs. Well, European Union also has been the victim of tariffs because of Greenland and various other reasons. And I think the deal is mother of all deals, as it is being termed as. And it's not for no reason that it's been called as mother of all deals, because 27 nations coming together, one as European Union doing the deal with India, 186 to 188 billion dollars, assume as the total size of trade being done by the two countries at this point of time. It is important to note, Asuma, that the European market was dominated by Chinese goods. China had literally covered the entire Europe and has been dumping its goods at sometimes at very competitive prices. And the Indian exporters tried to make a foothold. They found that because of the tariffs, the prices were not competitive enough. And now with this deal, you will find 90% of although the announcements are yet to come, probably in a very short time, you will hear a press conference. But I'm very hopeful that more than 90% of the items are going to become tariff-free, which would mean that Indian goods in Europe are going to become very, very competitive in terms of prices. So that will provide a big boost to the Indian exporters who have lost business because of the American onslaught, 50% tariffs being levied by America. The list is very long: textiles, leather, footwear, gems and jewelry, pharmaceuticals, chemical, engineering goods. I think that the list is very long, and I'm hoping that Indian goods, as with the flux of time, they will become more and more in demand in Europe. As far Europe is concerned, beverages, automobiles, defense equipment, Prime Minister Modi has already spoken about the defense partnership as far as Europe is concerned. So I think it's a good answer to President Trump that if he doesn't want to deal with the world can find its own way. We find the world huddling together. In fact, we have some reason to thank President Trump, because for 19 years this deal was stuck. And the world seems to be huddling up because he wants to alienate himself. He wants to bully the world. He wants to isolate America. He wants to dictate terms on America. We saw another tariff being levied on South Korea. And by the way, South Korea was one of the very dear partners of America, amongst the first countries in July 2025 to have entered into a trade deal. And now they face 25% tariffs instead of 15% tariff. Canada under threat of facing 100% tariffs just because they want to do a deal with China. I'm not sure what President Trump, how he's weaponizing tariff as a tool against the world. But what I definitely know is that it's going to land America in a very deep economic trouble. The debt to GDP ratio of America is 130%, $38 trillion of debt. It's going to create a mess around in America. As far as India, EU is concerned, I think it's a win-win situation. The European Union is going to find a huge middle-class market here of 650 to 700 million people. Adding to that the neo-middle class. I mean, it's a big market, and I'm sure European Union is more excited than India as far as the deal is concerned, Asuma.
Thank you very much. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Kohli for joining us today and sharing that insight. Thank you very much. Now we move on to U.S. The White House has stated that U.S. President Donald